Nintendo has announced their next console, and it is called the Nintendo Switch. The defining feature of the Nintendo Switch is that it comes with a tablet-like device that can be used as a tablet display when the player wants to continue their game away from their TV. Unlike the Wii U, there is no double screen experience, which I'm sure is a relief to some developers. The controller has two pieces with face buttons called Joy-Cons, which is no doubt short for joystick controllers, and these can be removed and attached to the tablet piece. There's a Pro-style controller that can be used instead of the Joy-Cons. Nintendo Switch is cartridge-based, and while people will of course criticize this means load times will be much shorter or non-existent compared to discs. The trade-off would be that they will be a little more costly than disc-based media. Nintendo has said that as it lacks a disc reader of any kind, it will not have physical backward compatibility with the Wii and Wii U. It wouldn't be unlikely that the eShop games will at least carry over, like they did with the Wii and Wii U. Hopefully, Nintendo will resolve a comprehensive eShop account system by then. Nintendo released a video called The First Look at Nintendo Switch, which wasn't a lot more than a promotional commercial, but it shows some bits of information. The video starts by showing us that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will be on the Nintendo Switch. At 1 minute 7 seconds, the video shows Skyrim, presumably the remastered version, on the Nintendo Switch. Though Bethesda has not confirmed it will be on the Switch, this is just likely an announcement oversight. 1 minute 36 seconds, some guys play Mario Kart in a van, but this time King Boo is a playable character, and the player has the ability to carry 2 power-ups, which reminds me of Double Dash. 2 minutes 11 seconds, the video shows an actor playing a new Mario game. The actor then takes it with her to a party, where she removes the left and right Joy-Con, and plays it with one of the party attendees. 2 minutes 46 seconds, Splatoon is being played by some MLG types. Notable is that they're in a never-before-seen level with new fashions for the Inklings. The Inklings are also holding weapons I don't recognize, so there might also be new weapons, but they look oddly plain. Is this a mock-up video, or are they standardized tournament weapons? 3 minutes 27 seconds, system is out March 2017. It's unclear if the games shown are just speculative mock-ups, or actual software that is in development. There could be sequels or add-ons to Mario Kart and Splatoon in the works, but Nintendo's been tight-lipped on just about everything and anything related to the Switch. It is a safe bet to say that there will be a new Mario game, and Mario running through the desert-themed Mexican-styled level could be a part of the new game. Maybe he heads back to Sarasa Land. Disney fanboys would no doubt like that. Now, I won't say that Nintendo is going to fail or come out on top in this leg of the endless console race. Definitely not with how little information is available. People who are eager to shout Nintendoom too often end up looking foolish, and while saying unnecessarily outrageous things on YouTube might drive clicks, that ultimately devalues rapport with the audience. So instead, let's try to understand why Nintendo chose to make their next console the Nintendo Switch. For the last several years, Reggie Fils-Aimé has said that Nintendo is pursuing a blue ocean strategy. For those not familiar, imagine the marketplace is an ocean, and you, as a producer, are a hunter. To survive, you need to hunt and kill prey, thus making the water around you red. The more you hunt in one space, rival hunters will come and compete. The water then becomes a bloody frenzy. As we all saw with the Wii, Nintendo turned their attention to the casual audience. And once they tapped that short-lived market, Sony and Microsoft, who rushed in to try and feed from that same market, found there was no interest left in the PlayStation Move and Kinect. A blue ocean strategy is risky in comparison to the typical market mindset that says making incremental improvements on existing technology is a matter of using the current consumer interest, rather than spending funds on a product people may not want. It could be said that this was the case with the Wii U. There was not enough interest to warrant people purchasing it. Whether it be a lack of third-party support, a format that's too different for Sony or Microsoft, or whatever opinion you may have, Nintendo's perceived loss with the Wii U were typical for the blue ocean strategy. While investors might whip into a panic about the Wii U's less than stellar performance, it is another example of Nintendo using each handheld or home console to test the water for their successors. And while I won't claim to be an expert in understanding the blue ocean strategy, the website outlines 8 points. Point 2 is, pursue differentiation and low cost. Nintendo would pass the lowered cost to the consumer in retail price points and reduce the potential for loss. This was the case with the Wii and Wii U when Nintendo opted for less expensive hardware compared to Sony and Microsoft's offerings. So why did Nintendo choose to make the Nintendo Switch a tablet-based console? And how is this a blue ocean strategy? As I said in my Pokemon Go video, the mobile app market can be highly competitive. Not really a blue ocean, but what if it was a matter of scale? Imagine a vast tank habitat rich with resources filled with fish. Some of those fish eat and grow, and even become larger fish, with varying levels of success. Now what if that large tank wasn't really a tank, but actually an ocean? A market that has yet to be truly capitalized on by these smaller fish who have been living in a chaotic hunt. In a market, the limit of the metaphorical ocean is only a matter of market saturation. With tablet and app games, the consumer has plenty of options for entertainment, but the overall quality in those games is lacking, and the market is far from saturated. With so many developers and publishers engaging in that chaotic hunt in a wide open market, this would mean that a larger, more experienced publisher or developer might easily dominate and even expand the market. I believe that Nintendo views the tablet and app games market as a blue ocean in the scale for what they want to achieve. The abundance of Apple's iPads means the tablets will be tied to gaming, at least for the foreseeable future. And while the core gamer still spends most of its time on PC and console, younger generations are finding themselves more familiar with the irritatingly abundant tablets. While the gaming media ideologues would have loved to say that console and PC gamers were becoming quickly irrelevant, those declarations were premature, and the rate is much slower than they would have hoped, I'm sure. If the core gamer is only getting older, these players will eventually age out. This is a problem the comic book industry is currently coming to grips with. Nintendo's consoles leading to this point have been an evolution of touchscreens, motion controls, and portable screen formats. While Nintendo's Switch commercial never showed any children, tablets aren't marketed to children, despite the fact children use them. It seems Nintendo realizes that they do not need to market to a younger audience to appeal to a younger audience. I'm sure you see now, user, what Nintendo must be planning to do. Rather than fight the current battle with Sony and Microsoft for whatever scraps they might win, they might be looking towards the long game. If games are going to also be played on tablets, why not be the better tablet developer? They can co-opt the convenience and any other association that comes with tablet gaming, while directly pushing back against the ill-informed conceptions of what consumers can expect with tablet games, whether that be the quality of the game, the length of game development, or cost. Nintendo can't beat the price point that app games offer, but what if Nintendo doesn't need to? Nintendo is already viewed as a family-friendly company, and any family with the disposable income to buy an additional tablet for a child probably would already own a Nintendo console. So now consider a hypothetical. A parent on a road trip or commute might have to give their child something to entertain themselves with. They could give the child their own tablet, but then that would mean their tablet might end up a sticky mess. Or they might run up charges, since there are no applied parental controls. They could spend as much as $600 to get their child their own iPad, but if the family already owns a Nintendo Switch, as Nintendo's current home console offering, well, that solves the dilemma quickly. Why buy a second iPad or forfeit their own if they can just take that Switch tablet with them? Before I give my final thoughts on whether I think the Nintendo Switch might be a real success, I want to offer a historical story. In the early 1800s, along with the help and finance of his brother William, Frederick Tudor purchased his first ship with which to ship ice to the Caribbean. After enjoying the luxury of ice cream and chilled drinks, he took to heart a joke from his brother that they could make a business exporting ice from Massachusetts to the West Indies. This began what we know as the ice trade, and the venture for Frederick was not only long, but difficult. Ice was free, but labor, ships, and property for ice houses, as well as injury from hazards to the trade, made it all difficult to keep up. It became so costly that his brother eventually backed out. Even his family's wealth was beginning to fail, and Frederick spent 3 years in a debtor's prison. He was regarded as a fool or an eccentric, but remained determined to show people that they wanted ice. He would go as far as to give demonstrations, allowing people to try ice-chilled drinks for free. He taught restaurants how to make ice cream, showed other merchants ice could be used to transport produce, and that hospitals could use ice to relieve feverish patients. His biggest obstacle was overcoming the hurdle of what people felt was an unnecessary luxury. This is, of course, a highly summarized version that does Frederick's story little justice. But after 30 years, he regained his wealth and became known as the Ice King. Despite a lack of electronic refrigeration, ice had become less of a luxury enjoyed only by the wealthy, but something commonly used and enjoyed. You can no doubt imagine having a drink without ice. Some people might even prefer a drink without ice. But could you imagine a lifetime, let alone a summer, without a chilled drink? How about ice cream? Maybe frozen foods? It wasn't long ago when tablet computing or datapads seemed like science fiction, but their wide use now has shown us that they are not only practical, but useful. So what if seeing tablets as practical for games is just a matter of some eccentric showing us? Or maybe showing those who already used tablets what they're missing out on. As goofy as the Joy-Cons might look, let's be honest, it's going to be a lot better than virtual tablet controllers. Those are generally pretty lousy. From the looks of it, Joy-Cons won't be required. And in that case, people can just buy a Pro-style controller. My best guess is this: the Nintendo Switch will not be a roaring success, but a step into an ultimately profitable direction. If it does see dramatic profit, it'll be either because of that young demographic getting behind it in a big way, or the release of a game that really drives the console. That is why people buy consoles after all, for games. Take care. Until next time.